Solidify! I will have order. As you wish, main Fräulein.
Time for a light show! I summon thee!
Gather!
By royal... Fuse is lit! May I present... I won't hold you back.
Osmanthus.
Behold!
I'll put you on high heat.
Shower me with praise! Let my name echo!
I see through you.
The wind rises. Upon the gale. Too slow.
I will protect you. Yoo-hoo! Shoot! Bomb! As a dutiful maid would. I'll catch up. How brilliant! Ah. Leave it all to me. Shower me with praise. I'll catch up. Someone needs assistance. I'll catch up. leave no stone unturned, as a good knight should.
Shower me with the breaking news! On for me!
As a dutiful maid would.
Are you sure it has to be me?
Solidify!
Get out of here! Everybody stand! Midnight Phantasmagoria! Fire hazard!
This is order.
I'm going in! Time for a light show! Astra. Thank you for Add Astra.
This realm is... If you ever have...
You're so happy just to see the sun again. How childish.
Strike a pop! Body and mind.
Precision strike! A moment, please.
The show begins! How dare you! Time to shine! Witness the power of good luck.
Leave the wounded to me! Have a safe trip!
May I present? Let the world collide! Let me weave you a verse. Know my sword! Huh?
You had your... Let's begin.
outlines your fate. No!
Now's our chance. Neutralizing.
Away now. Get a little chilly. A moment, please.
Let the world collide! Let me weave you a verse. Rain outlines your fate.
Let's keep going, team. Precision.
Have a safe trip.
Boring! Isn't there anything else more interesting to do? Tea party! These are a must for the... Oh man.
Well, since you asked so nicely.
Stabilize.
Right here, right now. Right here. By royal the fuse is lit!
Nothing lasts forever.
Emerge.
Right now.
Shadow Raven, let night fall!
Order guide you. Gather.
Fire hazard!
promotions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? You know we're worth it. For quality work and speedy results, choose Paimon and the Traveler!
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulty.
That does sound like a tricky situation.
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses. There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll...
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any idea? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any...
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the... Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out an...
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder. Paimon approves! Hello there! Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two! Are you really willing to act in my musical?
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. That's the thing. We're not some all our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently.
Disband? You're splitting up the
Oh, I guess the lady at the one last show. And nobody wants things to just... Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood. The show just won't be the...
Got it. We have a clearer what if we...
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... That's how you know we're the best. She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're...
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but...
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows, but even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Farina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours. Well, yeah... Fair enough. I mean, I'm sure everyone in our troupe is Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we... Besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty.
Thank you for your help.
Wait, where does Farina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonian.
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. It is my duty to support commissioners and...
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, whoop! give us the right address? She lives here? Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just, a bit of a step down from the Palais Marmonia.
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Okay, when did Popping on a Thin Air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too. Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre faucilor or blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoo!
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! With the trap! Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either!
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help!
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then fine. I'll spare you the lecture about your attitude just now. So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific? Ah, I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just after all. I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, but given...
How come? It sounds like this would be a
True, but I have... Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character, centuries of pretending to be a different person, changes you completely. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no... But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's about... If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself. So I'm not going to perform.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably... Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help. Look, I'm sorry, okay?
Well, is there anything...
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking... Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so hard.
It's all right, Farina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, yeah, I guess that's all we can do.
Toodaloo to you, too.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Farina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now.
awaits order.
Ready, go! You Blake, you're up!
As you wish, main Fräulein.
The fuse is lit!
Stabilize.
Don't be scared!
No rest for the wicked.
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell you I'm going to take a step back?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Farina go?
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical with the full original cast was always the dream, of course.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Farina really so harsh with people?
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear, so I'll stop looking for a replacement. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have to make sure it goes ahead.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I'll definitely be able to tough it out until the performance day. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list. All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me. Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation just now.
Farina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned, that's all. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just feel a bit bad about how it went down. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing. But in any case, it's...
Yeah. When they said they were gonna...
There's no need to think like... I was wondering, if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep...
We all want to believe that. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our...
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to... But still...
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Farina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from...
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now.
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides...
Yes, exactly. We all...
Well, good thing I followed the Traveler here. After he... I know what you're thinking, but I by no means... I can, however, provide some, but only if you feel...
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant.
I don't need any something I've begun. The law only... What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, take, par exemple...
Still a fan of it. You just want to get back in.
No. This is a completely...
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director... All right, follow me.
Squall and Fury.
Make my escape.
Huh? Lady Farina?
What's Lady Farina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Farina will be supporting our production of The Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Farina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no introduction.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice.
Oh, please don't mention it. We just...
So, you were saying?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to...
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front. The protagonist of the story is she longed to live, but one day, her true
So far.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. We need a proper ending so we can...
We still haven't decided between a happy ending...
By true to life.
Yeah, like they say, but then there's the question of whether we really...
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some And one last thing. We're still waiting on... The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Farina helping...
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware.
Our director was constantly singing your praises.
Oh, stop. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that one by one, all the
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1. Let's check in with Paulo and see where he went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that...
I thought the last thing his friend would...
Yeah, maybe he could keep...
Poisson. Nothing. I suppose my presence... So, allons-y. To Poisson!
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
All right. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is even once he's done, it isn't final until...
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Farina, too.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let... And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the...
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier, which brings me to why I'm here. thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Farina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means—
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with. I'm so grateful that Miss Nafia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me, which, of course, I completely understand and accept. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
Paimon's surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rasula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there. I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll, and here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories washed out of existence in an instant. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task and was haunted. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
A reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Farina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant.
So that's where you were coming from.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going right now, at least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Sure! Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food. Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Oh no, looks like they're arguing again. We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too, like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided they didn't want me anymore. I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days at a time. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her. I said yes. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. All of us were so proud to call her our director. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphanage. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was just to taunt me, though. I was an easy target, and they knew it. One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was...
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself
The day you hoped would never come.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new art...
Farina? The Farina? Oh my god.
Please, the honor...
Same here!
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Yes, the script, of course. Let me get... I'm sure you're already... She finds love and friendship in the bustle. The people start to notice that all the little Oceanid, Cleo. In the end, they discover...
Consciousness?
Water as a conscious...
Since the little Oceanid is a water... Her lover accepts her for who she is. The little Oceanid is a cute...
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover. Plus...
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had... If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, what about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. Both arbitrary... On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point. But she never came. We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly...
The director was the kindest soul in the world. Yet she...
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some...
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing.
Vilma? The one who's playing the role...
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also because... Well, speaking of the play...
What? You kept that one
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the... I did tell her how I felt once. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered... Not that it came as a shock or anything. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's set... Well, maybe then she could... And now...
Oh, Paulo.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by
In that case, you have to straighten things. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. Funny you should ask, though.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone.
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
As if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me?
We're just curious, that's all.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could—
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my— As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a,
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as the more brave and—
Aw, too bad.
Sorry to leave all the
Don't worry, piece of cake.
By royalty—
Just behold! Yeah! Cry louder!
Come on out!
odds were—
The wind rises.
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Farina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone except you.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Vilma, avoiding the truth will not help anyone. Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything, for the sake of the show. The Little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our...
And then?
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything. Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it.
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her! How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life. And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show. How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want, end my life, so I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost! I don't ever want to see your face again!
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you! Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life.
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And that's what you should be celebrating. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director Aurelie and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again. If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray. The end of the story needs to focus back on Aurelie herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that Aurelie left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on Aurelie's true feelings?
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and wait for our good news.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while now. Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
So, this is all Aurelie left behind. Just whatever she was carrying.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary. Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a
Lachey took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess Aurelie must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have... Wait. If you become human, you can reveal your secret.
Isn't that the most important line in the
Because I am an older
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped. She had their utmost trust. Let's go.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now...
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance. I won't ask for your forgiveness.
Then it seems like...
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never...
Don't underestimate my experience. If you want to move the audience with your... And aren't human emotions? Love, hate, regret. I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Farina.
Then, let's not delay things any longer.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name in...
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to... Besides, a role commemorating her life.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with...
Now we're talking like a... Alright, I'll leave you to fine-tune your music.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need...
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's...
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie...
No,
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on, we'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. Hey, look. I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Farina. And you too, Traveler in Paimon.
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. The story of the little I will say, however...
Huh?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've...
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. In the past, we sat... Maybe it's because I finally
I'm truly delighted to see you now that you've regained some confidence.
Why would...
Well, if the little Oceanid... The experiences and decisions of the protagonist, Cleo, are all modeled after your own. It would truly be a shame if you did not...
Haven't I already made myself Nor do I think it is any great... This experience is a case in point. I must admit, though, I
see. Well, I'm glad... I sincerely hope the show will serve us...
Thanks, Nervilette.
You are very...
everyone. It's done. The Opera Epiclese is booked. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity. A touching story. Now, let's work together.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamal and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation.
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far.
It's amazing. Even though Farina's still being a bit of a drum.
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions.
Hey, Loic, get over here.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time. If only...
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage!
Why does it have to be now?
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now. Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they stop working?
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health.
I'm sorry. I've let everyone down.
You... This is a conversation for another time. How can the show go on without its star performer?
Miss Farina, I'd like to make a request of you.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it. Why?
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale. From the sublime to the ridiculous. After all that, everything's come full circle.
Thank you, Miss Farina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep. No one likes regrets, myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask, what, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart, despite all the pain and loneliness.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly.
get here!
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle nourrit, ainsi que toi, mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et alarmante. Je suis seule et toujours là, à voir le monde et s'inventer. Et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Farina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The Little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people recognized me. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice. Still, I have to admit that, despite everything, it felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Farina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, so it was Farina after all. She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally...
Yes, I know the rule, but it just...
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for...
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack. Paimon flew over to where she...
Oh, I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy?
Oh, let's go check on...
Yes. Plus, she'll, if nothing else, we can safely say that.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
How did the performance go? Was it a success? Did the audience like it?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Farina was on the stage! You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird first thing tomorrow morning!
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end. I guess I was wrong to try and tough it out to begin with.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, everyone's work deserves recognition. Even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's safe.
Well, one way or another, we did it. I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life. I'm just happy to know that we went out on a high note. That's all that matters.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much, your illness wouldn't be flaring up.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to argue with you right now.
Why,
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You won't have to disband if you don't want to. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the Little Oceanate to the bigger theater troupes out there. That would do wonders for your financial situation.
No, we should still disband.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Farina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too.
Oh, so now you've... What about you, Miss Farina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer... You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of...
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. Maybe. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me after all. Yeah. But from now on, I want to watch them blossom. I'm sure this is...
Sounds like you're ready to stop. The more you get out into the world, the more...
If a vision is, then I should do my...